Landlords, how do you increase your rents in the new world of the Renters' Rights Act? And also, how much by? We're going to get into this and unpack it now. Hi, I'm Ali and welcome back to Concentric TV, a channel for landlords and investors bringing you top tips on how to manage your properties compliantly, build profitable portfolios, and of course bringing you all the latest news with legislation changes and things that are going on in the industry and the sector. Now, I'm Ali, I've been helping landlords for nearly 20 years. I'm here with my colleague Elisha.
Hi, I've been helping landlords now for just over 10 years.
Just over 10 years, fantastic, and doing a great job as well. And we are here today, so we're going to talk a little bit about the changes to the process in rent increases now that the new Renters' Rights Act is in force. So let's get into it. So talk to me a bit about rent increases, because of course a lot of landlords have been asking me about this. You're no longer going to be able to just have a verbal, conversation and negotiation and get it done. There's obviously a new process. So firstly, can you still increase your rent? Yes. Is there a cap? Is there an amount that you have to be able to do it by, or what? What does that look like?
So even before the Renters' Rights Act, that was a big question. Can I only put my rent up by 10%? Used to be, I think, the figure that used to pop out all the time.
Most landlords I know used to think 25 quid.
Yeah, 25, 50 pounds most, or 10% gets thrown about, and I don't know where, obviously, that's not the case. It's still the exact same on how much you can increase it by. So there's no cap as long as it's within market value. Now that's a big thing, the market value side of it. And you have to...
It's got to be fair and reasonable, hasn't it? Exactly.
And you've got to have the comparables to match it up.
Yes.
You've got to see what the market is actually like and not just think of a number in your head and think, oh,
justify it.
Yeah, that's what my property's worth, when in reality it might not be.
Yes.
So obviously, in relation to your question, there's not a cap, but there is if you look at the market value side of it.
So the cap is market value. What's fair and reasonable for today's market? So what about for, let's say I've been in your property for 10 years and you've not put the rent up for 10 years and I'm paying you £500 a month now, but it's now worth over £1,000 a month. Can you double my rent?
You can.
Okay.
So again, as long as it's market value, you can put the rent up to that price. Now, whether you do that is obviously another conversation. Legally, you can.
Yes, okay. It's interesting because I have a lot of conversations with landlords who say, oh, I couldn't do that to my tenant, that seems like way too big a jump. But I would flip it and say, well, your tenant has been saving hundreds of pounds a month for however many years. They've been getting a bloody good deal, haven't they?
They have. And if they go somewhere else and try and find another property, they're going to be starstruck from what they're seeing. So it makes sense to have that conversation. Yeah,
of course. Yeah. But there's also a lot of numbers in between, isn't there? So, it's,
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so we've established so you can still increase your rents. There's no cap, there's no limit as long as it's within market rates and fair and reasonable, and you can justify it. In terms of the Renters' Rights Act, what's changing about the process? How do landlords now have to go about increasing their rents?
So we all used to love negotiating with the tenants, having that conversation with the tenants, especially if you've got a good relationship with them. Now, you can still do that and still speak to your tenants and have that conversation and make sure that they're aware that the increase is going up, but you have to formally now increase it through a Section 13 notice.
Okay, interesting. So the Section 13 notice has always been there, right? This isn't the actual Section 13 notice itself isn't new, it's just now that every rent increase has to be enforced by notice.
Exactly, and the Section 13 notice gives all the information to the tenant that they need to know to go against that rent increase.
Interesting, yeah. So the notice will actually tell the tenant how they can oppose and take it to a tribunal, right?
Which wasn't the case before if you were just doing it through negotiation.
Sure.
So if they ask the question, then of course you may give them the answer, or they might find it online. But now you've got to provide them all that information from the get-go.
Yes. So this is where it gets interesting for me, because you could be increasing the rent to, within market value. It can be fair and reasonable, but because it's such a jump, if you haven't done it for a number of years, the tenant could still feel like it's unfair for that reason, right? And they could still go to tribunal even if it's within market rent. Yeah. If that happens, what does that mean for the landlord?
So pre-Renters' Rights Act, that rent increase would still stand up until tribunal. So it would basically be backdated.
Yeah, so if you were successful at tribunal as the landlord, that backdated increase would have to be paid.
Exactly. However, now that rent increase does not stand and will not be backdated, and your rent increase, if found at tribunal, is fair and reasonable, will only start from then.
okay, so that's really interesting. So what we're saying is, if the tenant goes to tribunal and they don't pay the additional that you've asked for, they continue paying their normal rate.
Yeah.
It's found that it goes in your favour at tribunal, then they will have to start paying the rent from that date, not backdated.
Exactly.
If it's not in your favour, obviously rent doesn't go up at all and it stays where it is.
Yeah, if they find it unfair, then obviously the rent increase will not stand. But yeah, they could delay it.
So what do you think is going to happen with the sort of time frame when we're talking about these tribunals? What do we think is going to happen there?
So like a lot of things, once maybe a tenant gets wind of the situation and obviously sees on the Section 13 notice how to go about going against the rent increase, even if they find it fair and reasonable, they may just do that just to delay it.
Buy some time.
Yeah, just to delay it. And if all the tenants do that, or even 50% of the tenants do that, the tribunal's going to be inundated with cases.
It's going to be a lot more cases to look at.
Yeah.
Backdated.
Exactly.
Could take months.
Like you said, could take months. We don't know how long until we start seeing the numbers and until we start seeing how many are actually going to tribunal. We don't know.
Interesting.
And there's a lot out there now for tenants to find that information. And if they can't afford it right now, or they just want to delay their time until they maybe find something cheaper, or even just delay it further just because they want to, they have the opportunity to do that.
Interesting. So at the moment, you can put your rent up every 12 months, right? You can't. It's got to be at least 12 months since the last rent increase, and that's remaining, isn't it?
That
The
is.
Renters' Rights Act.
Yeah.
But of course, with if you serve a Section 13 notice, it goes to tribunal. It takes 6 months to go through that system, depending on how busy they are and what's going on, what that process looks like. At that point, the rent increase is enforced. It's then 12 months from that date, isn't it? Under new rules.
Yes, that's correct.
So you could be looking at not being able to increase your rent for another 2 years.
100%.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the being backlogged and with you providing the tenant with the information to say, if you want to go to tribunal, take it to tribunal, basically. We could see a delay even further than 12 months. It's a lot.
It is.
Especially when rents are obviously going up. Landlords' costs are going up. Mortgages can go up. There's a lot of factors where you may need a rent increase. And if that's delayed by 2 years, it could put your property unprofitably.
So it's an interesting topic. It is a challenge, but I think the most important takeaway for landlords from this video has to be: look, you can still put your rent up.
Yeah.
You have to. There's no cap on how much buy, but it has to be within market value and fair and reasonable. You have to follow a proper process. If you don't follow that proper process, any potential fine risk, anything like that could be
£7,000.
up to £7,000 for not following the proper Section 13
Correct.
process. Interesting. So here that landlord's up to £7,000 fine. That seems to be the magic number on the Renters' Rights Act with most of the new proposals if you fall foul. But like I say, big takeaway is it can be done. There's no cap. Follow the right process. Yes, it's going to maybe change things. It might take a bit longer, but ultimately you are still in a position to put your rent up.
And one thing I will say is still speak to your tenant prior to serving that notice. In my opinion, the likelihood of them actually going to tribunal when you've had that conversation and already pre-warn them to expect that Section 13 notice, you may then have a chance where they're not going to take it to tribunal.
So you're agreeing verbally, you're having a conversation, you're maintaining that relationship, and then just formalising it once the conversation's been had.
Like you can't guarantee that once they read that Section 13 notice, they won't think, oh, actually, I'm going to take it to tribunal. But it does reduce the risk.
I agree. It's great advice, and I think ultimately it's about maintaining a great relationship with your tenant in all of these
Always
things.
is, yeah.
Absolutely good stuff. Okay, anything final to add on this for you, Elisha?
So we do offer a free consultation call. This may be actually to discuss where your property should be at within the market. So is your property due a rent increase and what the market value is, just so you don't go over that threshold. Or if you are concerned about anything else compliance-wise, then schedule in the call using the link below.
Absolutely great. Thank you very much. And a great offer there from Elisha. I absolutely second it. Use the link below. Remember, we can discuss anything Renters' Rights Act, new changes, new laws. If you've got any particular challenges, our expert team are here to help. We cover Wolverhampton and Liverpool. That's where we're based. I'm Wolverhampton, Elisha's in Liverpool. We'd absolutely be more than happy and love to help you. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, guys, if you found this useful, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we will be releasing more and more great content like this, different aspects of the Renters' Rights Act, different changes to legislation, top tips for investors, how to optimise, manage compliantly and all that sort of thing. So don't forget to follow the channel, and we will see you on the next video.